The Islanders got off to a great start, but then held on for dear life in the third period, but ended up with a 4-3 win. We have our key takeaways, including some important milestones in this game and our weekly farm report, all that and a lot more coming up on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast.
Your Locked On Islanders, your daily podcast on the New York Islanders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Locked On Islanders podcast. So glad you could join us and be part of the Locked On Islanders family. And thank you for making Locked On Islanders your first listen every day. We are free and available on all platforms. If you've got something Islanders related on your mind, if you have a question, a comment, or maybe a topic you'd like us to talk about on the show, feel free to email us at lockedonislanders@gmail.com. And if you leave your first name and where you're from, we're happy to mention you on the show when we talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. You could also follow the show on Twitter at Locked On Isles, and you could follow me, Gil Martin, on Twitter at Ice Wars, NYRVSNYI. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest Islanders news, notes, and happenings, and I am live tweeting during nearly every Islanders home and road game. I will give you instant insight and analysis, and it's always great to interact with fans during the game. So please do feel free to say hello at any time via Twitter. Lots to discuss on today's show, but let's start with the good news. The Islanders with a 4-3 win over the Columbus Blue Jackets in a game that it looked like the Islanders were kind of on easy street. They were up 4-1 at one point, and then all of a sudden, that lead got shakier and shakier. And, you know, when there was a penalty called in regular time, goal, they killed despite on goal. Way too good game for Varlamov. He makes 42 saves. Very impressive at that with a fast glove. Came up big late in the game, especially, and got the job done. And you know the Islanders are going to need a lot from Varlamov as long as Ilya Sorokin is out. Before the game, the Islanders recalling Corey Schneider, the veteran from Bridgeport, and bringing him up to be the backup goalie. So I would think Varlamov is going to probably start nearly every game until is able to come back all the game. Gotta say, Red, and the thing about Nelson now, he now has a 4-game goal streak and and in that 5-game point streak, 5 goals, 4 assists. That's 9 points in 5 games. And, you know, it's you need players to step up and be red hot in order to, you know, get a win streak together. And seeing Brock Nelson do that was really, really important for the New York Islanders. Also, congratulations to Matt Martin playing in his 800th NHL game. And look, For a player like Matt Martin, 100 games, his fourth line, he plays a tough, and that takes a toll on your body. There's just no way around that. So, Martin just has to feel proud of accomplishing the 800 played milestone, and congratulations to him. Kiefer Bellows, Ross Johnston sitting out, but that fourth line of Cizikas, Martin, and Bellows, -2, all three of them in this game. So that was a little bit of a disappointment, and it'll be interesting to see what Barry Trotz does. Anders Lee, 2 assists. He now has 9 points, 2 goals, 7 assists in his last 5 games. Lee and Nelson have been absolutely red hot. Noah Dobson with a beautiful assist to set it up. Grant Hutton still in there for Sebastian Aho. That was encouraging. And Parise with a nice goal. Bailey scoring as well. All of a sudden, the offense sort of picking up for the first 2 periods. But in that third period, even though the Islanders, what seemed to be a fairly comfortable lead, all of a sudden it breaks. It was 4-1 until Gavrikov scored his second of the game, kind of late in the second, and then in the third. The third period. It was like the Islanders were standing still while the Blue Jackets skated circles around them and were just taking shot after shot on poor Semyon Varlamov. Bjorkstrand getting the only goal, only 4.5 minutes in, and Islanders able to keep the Blue Jackets out of, scoring that tying goal, but it wasn't for like very handy and comes up very big. But overall, you can't be overly pleased with that third period. And I know Barry is going to have something about the way the team finished this game. One other thing, that Beauvillier penalty, have to mention it. That was a hometown call. This game was in Columbus. Both referees didn't put their hands up, including the one who was right in front of Bo. And then, all the fans in attendance in Columbus yelling for that penalty, and then it is called. Good to see the power play score, the Brock Nelson goal for the Isles, coming with the extra attacker, and the by far is the Parise goal. A little tap in, but what a great pass by Noah Dobson. A cross-ice pass that let Parise set up for a tap-in. Plays like that, Dobson has 28 assists now on the season. You make plays like that, this kid, this is the limit. And that was encouraging. So that's a positive development, and now we move on from there. We have got a lot more to talk about on today's show. We have our weekly talk things, Bridgeport Islanders, and let me tell you, Bridgeport is on a roll right now as they fight for that last playoff spot. We'll talk all about it, that and more still to come on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by Built Bar. Have you tried Built Bar Puffs? If you haven't, you're missing out on one of Built Bar's best tasting bars. Puffs are the first ever protein-infused marshmallow. They're fluffy, they're marshmallowy, they're not just a protein bar. They are a treat, and like all Built Bars, they're covered in 100% real chocolate. Puffs are a fan favorite with some incredible flavors. Listen to these: yummy, cinnamony, churro, coconut marshmallow. I love the banana cream pie. That's my favorite. They're so good. They are going to be your new favorite. And look, most Built Bars contain just 130 calories, only 4 grams of sugar, 4 net carbs, but they pack 17 grams of protein. Compare that to a candy bar, which usually has 240 calories, 30 grams of sugar, and dozens of net carbs. At Built Bar, they're all about the taste. They make it taste delicious first, then figure out how to make it healthy. And I don't know how, but they pull it off every time. Go to Built.com, use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off your order. That's promo code LOCKED15 for 15% off at Built.com. Time now for our farm report. We do this almost every Wednesday, and the Islanders, Bridgeport Islanders, are our focus on the farm report. And look, we did the farm report last week, and the Islanders were in the middle of a game against the Utica Comets. That was last Wednesday. They ended up winning that game by a score of 4-1. Paul LeDoux with 2 goals in that one, 2 assists for Simon Holmstrom, and Bridgeport ends up with the win on the road against the Comets, and that extends their point streak to 5 games. They follow that up with a game against the Toronto Marlies, that's the Maple Leafs farm club, and the Islanders get above Hockey 500, scoring 4 goals in the first period and beat the Marlies by a score of 5-1. That one also a road game, 40 shots faced, Corey Schneider making 39 saves, 2 assists for Cole Bardreau, a goal and an assist each for Arnaud Durando and Grant Hutton, who is, of course, now up with the New York Islanders. So the Islanders, with that win, go above 500 on the season for the first time since October 30th, and they increase their point streak to 6 games. They were then 5-0-1 in their last 6 games, and that put them just 0.008 percentage points behind Wilkes-Barre Scranton in the race for the final playoff spot, and they had 11 games left on the schedule at that point. We're done, not fast. Islanders then go on to play the Rochester Americans with a 6-5 overtime win, extends the point streak to 7 games, 6-0-1. Chris Terry, his 600th career AHL point, and that was the game winner. And now, they were down 2 goals twice in this game and managed to win on the road. Austin Zarnik, a goal and 2 assists. Robin Salo playing better, a goal and 2 assists. Durando, 1-1. And again, the Islanders, 46 shots on goal in this game. That is a new season high. So a 3 games over this past week, 3 wins for the Islanders, and they are, as of then, tied with Wilkes-Barre Scranton for that last playoff spot. And what a great win. Skarek gets his 3rd straight win, and when you fall behind 2-0 and you then fall behind 3-1 and then manage to come back and win, that is just a very encouraging performance. Chris Terry, who we talked about, it's one of those things with Chris Terry. You get 600 career points in the AHL. And on the one hand, that says, that you've been consistent and you've been good playing in the AHL. And on the other hand, it means you've been in the AHL a long time and you're not probably going to get, other than the cup of coffee now and again, that call to the NHL. Terry, 22 goals to lead the team, 48 points to lead the team. Otto Koivula next with 41 points. And then Andy Andreoff with 39. Arnaud Durando with 37. And then Simon Holmstrom, 34 points right there. As far as defensemen go, Grant Hutton now leading the way with 19 points. Maybe that's why he got the call up when Sebastian Aho was hurt and or ineffective. So quality play right there. And the other thing you're noticing, the Bridgeport Islanders getting better goaltending. And that definitely is one of the reasons why Bridgeport has been winning lately. Corey Schneider now at 2.68 goals against average. He's 10-10-3 on the season, but a .921 save percentage. He's been playing lights out lately. Jakob Skarek, 3.08 goals against, 16-11-4, and a .902 save percentage. Now, as I mentioned, Schneider now up with the Islanders because of the injury to Ilya Sorokin, and we'll see when he is able to come back. But a great week for the Bridgeport Islanders. 3 wins since we last did the farm report, and that is outstanding. Now, Saturday is the big one. They close out this road trip at the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. That's the team they are battling for that last playoff spot. It is on AHL TV. If you want to watch or listen, check out the website. But that is a huge, huge game for the Bridgeport Islanders. That's Saturday at 6:05 Eastern Time at Wilkes-Barre Scranton. And then Sunday, the Bridgeport Islanders return home to face the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. That's a 3:00 p.m. afternoon face-off. There will be one other game before our next farm report. It is another home game, a tough one against the Hershey Bears, Tuesday, April 5th at 10:30 a.m. So that is a key. 3 more games coming up this week: Saturday early evening, Sunday afternoon, and then Tuesday morning. And again, the Bridgeport Islanders in a dogfight for that final playoff spot in the AHL and in their division, and hopefully they can pull it off. And again, if you want to check out the Bridgeport Islanders up in Bridgeport, just a ferry ride away from Port Jeff, and you can see some of the Islanders' future stars today. Should be a good one. And remember, we do this farm report every Wednesday. Occasionally we move it back if there's too many things going on to talk about, but we try to get it in every Wednesday. And that has been our weekly farm report, things picking up for the Bridgeport Islanders. When we come back, we have our Islanders birthday of the day, a defenseman who spent 1 year with the Islanders the century. We will talk about him and some more thoughts about last night's game. All that still to come on this episode of the Locked On Islanders podcast. Time now for our Islanders birthday of the day. And today is the 51st birthday of former Islanders defenseman Jamie Heward, the native of Regina, Saskatchewan, 6'2", 215 pounds, first-round pick, 16th overall of the Penguins back in 1989. He played his juniors in the Western League for the Regina Pats and then made his NHL debut actually with the Maple Leafs in 1995-96. Played after that for Nashville and then joined the Islanders for the 1999-2000 season. Played in 63 games for the Isles, 6 goals, 18 points, and 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points, and 26 penalty minutes. Then went on to play for Columbus and Washington and Tampa Bay before finishing up his pro 2009. Heward played in 394 games in his NHL career, 38 goals, 124 points, 221 penalty minutes, and that means he was 6 games short of getting his pension. So that's a close one there. Heward, gifted offensive player, but steady in his own zone, positionally sound. One of his better games as an Islander. We take you back to November 4th, 1999. Gonna party like it's 1999 at the Nassau Coliseum. The Canadiens, the visitor, and Jeff Hackett, a former Islander, in goal for Montreal, while the Islanders had Felix Potvin in goal for them. And this game would end up being a tight goaltender type duel. The Canadiens got on the board first. Martin Ruchinski scoring in the first 56 seconds of the game, his third from Brian Savage and Francis Bouillon. Again, 56 seconds in, and the Islanders are down 1-0. Stayed that way until the third period when Brad Isbister, his fifth of the year, Zdeno Chara, Tim Connolly with the assist at 10:20. Game all even at 1 apiece, and it headed into overtime. But in the OT, our Islanders' birthday of the day, Jamie Heward gets the game winner. It took only 47 seconds. Mats Lindgren and Eric Brewer with the assists, and the Islanders improved to 3-6-2 on the year, beating the Canadiens by a score of 2-1. The Islanders out shooting Montreal 34-18. Felix Potvin making 17 saves, but for Jamie Heward, 5 shots on goal in this game. That is unusual for him to have that many shots. He was a +1, and of course, he had the overtime game winner in this one. The 5 shots on goal, by the way, leading the team, Eric Brewer and Mariusz Cherkovsky each had 4 of the Islanders' 34 shots on goal. So again, Jamie Heward is our Island birthday of the day. He is 51 years old today, and we wish him. Thoughts about last night's game? The Islanders, my concern is that they sort of took their foot off the gas. That after getting the lead, they kind of laid off. They were up 4-1, and you got the feeling in this league, and all of a sudden, you know, the game is a 4-2, 4-3. You don't want to allow a team back in it, especially a team like the Columbus Blue Jackets that has gotten into the habit of coming back. If the All-Star game was held now, would be my pick for the Islanders representative. If he keeps on playing this well, he's got a shot at 40-32 already. Brock Nelson playing so well, and hopefully he can sustain that because, like, you know, here he is, 30, you know, and playing perhaps the best hockey of HL career. Now, tomorrow, we will have a special cross episode. We have that scheduled with Jay Forster of Locked On Blue Jackets. We'll talk a little bit more about last night's game. We'll preview the Thursday contest. So make sure you join us for that. Always fun to do the crossover episodes. I know join us tomorrow for the crossover with Locked On Blue Jackets. Thanks for making Islanders your first listen every day. Now make your second listen Locked On Fantasy Hockey. Hosts Steele Roden and Flip Livingstone help you become the expert of your fantasy league. It's free and available wherever you get podcasts. Have a great day, everybody. Stay safe. And of course, let's go Islanders.